This is the summary of Kamala Das' poem My Mother at 66. Kamala Das, she belonged to the 20th century and she was born in Malabar in Kerala. She is known for her originality, for her versatility, and she wrote many novels and short stories in English and Malayalam. Kamala Das here presents herself a very sensitive poetess, and this poem can be divided into three parts. The very first is driving with mother sitting beside. Kamala Das, she was driving from her parents' home to the Cochin airport, and her mother was sitting beside her. She was at that time 66 years old, as the title is also suggesting us. The old lady, the mother of Kamala Das, the poetess, she sits beside her dozing, means she was half asleep. Her mouth remains open as it happens in the old age. The mouth of Kamala Das was open and her face looks pale and faded. It was as grey as ash and it looks completely lifeless. She was looking, or her face was looking like a corpse, like a dead body. Okay, so this was the presentation of Kamala Das' mother. Now looks at the world outside. You can take this another heading. The lifeless and faded face of her mother pains her heart. It was very painful for Kamala Das looking at the face of her mother in that condition, because aging mother, the old lady or the mother of Kamala Das seems to be lost in thoughts. The poet turns away her attention from her mother because she felt herself in a pain, and she just wanted to divert her mind from the painful thought for her mother. She looks outside. The world outside is full of life and activity. So if we make a comparison of the two worlds, the worlds outside and the worlds inside of the car where her mother was seated, we find a lot of difference between these two kinds of world. The outside world was full of life and activities, full of happiness, full of greenness or vegetation. To the contrary, the world of inside the car was full of pessimism, was full of inactivity, passivity completely. We can say that it was full of death. The trees seems running past and the children look happy and gay. In this paragraph, or the fewest lines of this poem presents a difference between old age and young age. Means how the time flies, how the youth flies. First we are children and then we grow old, and we never come to know how quickly time takes from us our youth, and we grow only old. So the last one, familiar childhood egg returns. At the airport, what happens now with Kamala Das, that she was trying her best to divert her mind from her mother's face, because she was looking very aged, she was looking very pale. At the airport, they have to undergo a security checkup, and at that time Kamala Das again finds a time to look again at the face of her mother. Standing a few yards away, she looks again at her old mother, and again she is pained to look at the colorless, lifeless and pale face of her mother. Now the colorlessness, lifelessness of her mother's face again gave a lot of pain to Kamala Das, and her face looks faded like the late winter's moon. This is why that the poetess here is making a comparison of the face of her mother with late winter's moon, because it is completely brightless, and there is a very dim light in the winter's moon. The means there is no brightness, no shine. So same happens, same is felt by Kamala Das looking at the face of her mother. It has lost its shine and also its strength. So now this arouses the old familiar ache of pain in the heart of the poetess. Her childhood fear possesses her again, and her childhood fear, when she was child, this fear always remained in her heart, lest she should miss or she should lose her mother forever, because it always remains, this the same fear always remains in the heart of children. So now she reminds or she recollects her childhood fear, losing her mother forever. But she composes herself to look normal. She was trying her best to look very normal, to be very silent, and to look very cheerful in front of her mother, so that she may never be able to understand the inner pain of Kamala Das as a mother. So what she did, she scatters a smile on her face, and what she said, only goodbye. Okay, and she tried her best to conceal all her sad feelings from her mother, and smiling with a smiling face, she only says goodbye, goodbye to her mother. And she was very hopeful. She wished to meet her old aged mother again. So that was the summary.